All right, I should be live now. Hopefully. I'm using StreamYard, so I'm still working out a little bit about how this works. I'm going to hang out for a second. All right. Oops, we don't want that. Let's get rid of that. All right, cute. Hello, everyone, as you join the stream. Whoopsie. My light was about to fall. Trying to get myself set up here. All right, yay, we got some people in the house. Hello, everyone, for jumping into the stream. This is going to be a really short live stream. I'm happy to see everybody. It's been a minute since I did a video. So hello to everybody who's jumping on right now. This is mostly going to be more of an informative stream than anything else, just to talk about where I'm at right now. And some stuff that's been going on with life. So yeah, there's some good news and there's some kind of annoyed me news, and it's held me up for a couple of days. All right, excellent. Hello, Dorian, Stephanie, Carol, Lock for Life, Keith, D Bacon, NVRV, Marissa, anybody else? Stephanie, did I say you? So hello to everybody who has jumped. B, hello to you. All right, so there's a decent amount of people in here. So I'm going to do a little bit of quick chatting about life and what's coming up. The big thing, obviously, I'm not going to save it and try to hold it to make people hang out in the video. Is I mentioned in the title of the video that basically I have a road trip coming up. I am going to be working in Oregon for 2 months. So I'm going to be traveling from here to Oregon at the end of the week. On February 28th, I'm going to be starting towards Oregon. Now, I would love, if anybody knows a suggestion, I could basically get there in 6 hours if I really shoot it, but there's no reason for me to shoot it. I have a week where I can kind of be casual. So in taking the path from the Bay Area up to Oregon, if anybody has any suggestions, I would love it. Again, I have a theater stage management related position for about 2 months up in Oregon. And so at the end of the month, I'll be leaving the San Francisco Bay Area and headed up to Oregon. So if anybody is like, hey, take this road, here's a nice, road area to go in that's going to cost you $0, that would be great. January and February have been tough. And so money's a little bit tight for travel. Like the bills are paid, the necessary stuff, the car note, the insurance, all that stuff. But I'm going to be traveling on a tight budget, so I can't really do things that like cost some money. But if it's like, hey, this is the scenic route between where you are and where you need to get. I need to get to Ashland in Oregon. I would love to hear suggestions about where to go and the best way to get there. So yeah, I know people who've worked for this company, and they say it's a really positive experience. So I'm looking forward to going. I'm also nervous about it, but it should be fun, and it'll be nice just to get out of this area. I mean, like I'm feeling the frustration of just kind of being stuck. But yeah, I am enjoying my new job with the Children's Museum. That has been great. It's been chill. The people have been nice. It's not a lot of money, but it's like literally I've made lower hourly rates on back-breaking work than I'm making doing this, which is a lot of sitting at a desk and interacting with people. And I actually don't mind working with the public. Like, I actually kind of enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with people. Like, I am a loner in my personal time, but at work, I really don't mind dealing with the public. It's usually kind of okay, and usually comes with like interesting stories and tales to tell. So I'm really, really happy about it. Oh, I didn't even think about B. That's a good suggestion. I didn't think about reaching out to Carly. I'm only semi glancing at the chat right now just to say it, just so I can get through all the information I want to talk about. So, unfortunately, this thing is my Chromebook. I've had it for a while, mostly because I needed a laptop device, and Chromebooks are really, really cheap. And so I'm streaming on my tablet right now, but basically a Chromebook has Android on it. And I was using an Android app called KindMaster to edit my videos. So bad news about this Chromebook. It won't charge anymore. And I had a video trapped on here that I spent several days editing. And it's saved on like the hard drive, except it doesn't really have like a standard. It has like an SSD that's like soldered on, so there isn't really a good way to, without going to somebody else who knows more than me, there isn't a good way to get the video out. The videos and the raw video I was editing, it wasn't really raw. It was just the unedited video that I had saved on the Chromebook. There's no easy way that I'm aware of to get it off of here. And so this device in and of itself is dead as my editing machine. Or maybe not. I mean, but right now I can't afford to have it looked at and fixed. And I've gone as far with my personal troubleshooting as I could go. And so that's a little disappointing. Hi, Kiera. So yeah, so that's why I haven't really put out a video recently. I was kind of like frustrated and annoyed that basically my editing machine is pretty much gone. And I have other ways to edit. Like I said, it was an Android application, so I could edit on my phone. I just hate editing on a small screen. I prefer like something more laptop size. I'm looking into stuff I can maybe use on my tablet. But right now it's just like I'm trying to transition into a different way of editing video, and that sort of held me up with the stuff I already have recorded. And there's some stuff that I could put out with some really easy, quick edits, so I might do that. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing that this went down on me, and I don't know why it won't charge. Like, I don't know what happened. It won't charge anymore. And it may be a simple fix. Okay. So it's those two things are talked about. Like I said, William, I can't work for the census. All of my hours are going to be gone once I get to Oregon for two months. They will be having me working pretty much full time. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know NVRV. I know Static Camper Vans in the Seattle area. And you're right. I never thought about that. He's from California, so he's traveled through. He might have some thoughts. Good suggestions. I'll reach out to Carly and Scott. Okay, so those the two big things. Basically, another thing I have been doing while I've been at work, since it's basically a desk job, is I was working on a new website design. So I'm going to switch over to that real quick. I don't know if you guys can see it. Should be up by now, but this is my new website. This is my new Dawn of Vanlife website. So yeah, I basically have the area at the bottom where there's going to be YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon links. And then if you scroll down a little more, you'll see my favorite Vanlife Amazon products. And if you click on the more, then what I now have is an Amazon store page, which has just recommended products. Some of these I have used myself, and some of these are products that other people have recommended that I trust. So this will help me hopefully make a little bit of extra money as far as YouTube, but I now have an active like Amazon storefront account, as well as we're gonna go back my new website layout. So yeah, newdawnofvanlife.com and a new Amazon store. So that's the other thing I've been working on over the last couple of days while I've been at work. Because basically I'm sitting at a desk and every once in a while I have to unlock doors and I have to interact with the public. But honestly, I have like long hours of time where I'm just like sitting there, and as long as I'm not doing anything offensive or like doing anything bad over the company email, I can do stuff like code a website. It's a little harder to edit video because that requires like headphones or the ability to play sound. So I don't think I can use my time there for that kind of stuff, but it's cool to be able to have a job where it's like in between the stuff you have to do, you can kind of work on your own projects. And so one of the things I worked on is I was very unhappy with Wix. So I just found me another website I could design on a different platform. I've used WordPress before, and so I just did a really simple website on WordPress and got off the Wix platform, because people have also told me like the site doesn't show up properly and all this other stuff. So bye Wix, hello WordPress. So I have the new website. I have a newly organized Amazon recommendations list. Some people have also asked me if I have a wish list. I'll have to look at the description of this video, and it might not be in this one, but I have created a wish list because some people were asking me if I have one. I do have one now, but also I have products that you guys can buy. And as always, if you're buying on Amazon anyway, if you're like, I'm going on Amazon to buy something, it's helpful for me when you use my click-through link to go and buy whatever you want. Like you could click on my Ryobi fan and then go buy toilet paper, and it would still count as a click-through for me. So that's one of the ways that's really, really helpful to me as far as like, you know, having some extra funds. Okay, that's pretty much all the stuff I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I'm gonna glance at the chat and see if there's anything to respond to. Yes, I'm working for OSF for 2 months. Be America says it depends on the people. I do security work part-time. I don't know. I find like even the annoying people are a story to tell later. So I don't mind working with the public. I have so many annoying people stories, and they're always fun stories to tell people later. Even if it's stressful dealing with the situation at the time, as long as it's not like crazy people, which is possible. There have been a couple instances of people trying to break the windows, but it's usually, as I understand it, like overnight, and then you just come in the morning, so you're the person who has to call security, let them know what happened, and then you're not supposed to leave the premises until like the window situation has been taken care of. But I personally haven't had to deal with that, directly, but apparently like people have tried to do stuff like that. Is there anything else? Somebody said, where is it? You sound like you're feeling better. Zora says, yes, I feel like way better. It was a cold. I got over it in a couple of days. It just felt like it dragged on forever. And even like the remnants, like I still was like dealing with some coughing and stuff, but I was entirely like functional to a certain extent. So yeah, thank you. I am feeling better. Oops. Surf Sister, yes, that's where I'm going. What's going to be really weird in Oregon is like not being able to pump my own gas. Like when I drove through Oregon to go to Vancouver, like that was so weird. Like I'm not like it felt weird to like stand there while somebody else pumped my gas. It was so freaking weird. Glad it was just a cold and not the kung flu. Okay, so Ziggy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. So yeah, I'm glad it was just a cold. I really didn't want to tell you guys that I had just, honestly, a little bit before I got sick, Emily just came back from Asia, Southeast Asia, not too long ago, and I'd maybe picked her up from the airport about a week before I got sick. And then of course everything started coming out about the coronavirus, and I really didn't mention it because I didn't want people going, "Oh my God, Dawn, you're dying." So I didn't even get into all of that, but I literally just picked up Emily from the airport just before, sorry, I'm going to type my web address in here because somebody asks. I literally just picked up Emily shortly before I got sick. And we had just sat in my car talking for a while. And type and talk. There we go. I just typed my website address into the chat. But yeah, I just knew people were going to panic if they found that out, so I really didn't mention it. Speaking of Emily, yeah, we hung out the other day, and it was just really cool to have like one final hangout before we part ways again. Like, she left me for Southeast Asia for 3 months. I'm saying that like we're dating. We're not dating. We're just friends. And now like I'm about to leave for 2 months. But I'm only 6 hours away. So it's a little bit different, but at the same time, I think I'm going to be like insanely busy. So I think I'm going to be like entirely work focused for a while. So yeah, Saturday was good. We hung out. I think we did our first proper catch up since she's been back and has settled back into being in real life. Robin, where in Oregon are you coming? I'm in Portland. I'm going to be in Ashland for, OSF. I'm going to be in Ashland, Oregon, working at OSF. Ziggy, it is £4.99. Yeah, I missed the symbol. Also, the screen is really small. Samantha, if you get a chance, Crater Lake is one of the most beautiful places ever. It's not really far from where you will be. Awesome. I'll look that up. Locked for Lights, thank you for the $20 super chat. Much appreciated. Gas money for the road, man. But I really want to take it slow. Like, I don't want to rush my way into Ashland. They're not even expecting me until like a couple days before work. So if there's anywhere where it's like, hey, this is beautiful and it's along the route, I definitely want to put it on my list. Robin, you just said 10.00. Appreciated, but that's technically not a super chat. So yeah, any questions, suggestions, thoughts? Hey, Miss Chicago. Because mostly I've talked about the things I want to talk about, which was my travel plans, my current editing problems, and what was the other thing? Oh, my new website. So those are my big 3 things for now. I'm going to try to get some other videos out this week before I leave. I also am going to try to do some very simple, easy to upload daily vlogging while I'm traveling up to Ashland, Oregon. So yeah. That's my plan. I want to do it really, really simple. So it may just be like, hey, checking in and this is how the day went and blah, 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 blah. Because usually what I do is I make all these little video clips that I have to edit before I have to upload. And so thank you, Robin, for the $10 super chat. And also, this is going to be really weird because now I've been living not in a house for not quite 2 years now, but going on there. I'm going to actually have housing while I'm there. So it'll be interesting to like not sleep in the van every night. I mean, like, obviously I've house sat and pet sat since I started living in the van, and even before that when I was living in the car, but I haven't like had a space where it's like, this is yours for X amount of time with no obligation except for going to work. So the whole housing thing will be weird. It's not bad or good. It's like I'm used, like this is life now, so I'm pretty used to it. But it will be nice to have like easy access to a shower, unlimited electricity where I'm not worried about how much solar I get in a day, sort of a standing kitchen area. So yeah, so it'll be weird to have that for 2 months, and we'll see how the effect of like having that for 2 months and then transitioning back into the van, like sort of what that feels like. So yeah, that's what that'll be like. William Smith. Okay, I gotta see Crater Lake then. I gotta make sure I see it. William Smith says, the bluest thing you will ever see is Crater Lake. Patty and Pups, will you be hosting a meetup while in Oregon or along the way? I could. I don't have my schedule yet, so I can't really, like, I don't know what the hourly obligation is going to be. So I'd have to think about, as far as like when I get to Oregon, what's that going to be? So yeah, I haven't really thought about along the way because I don't know where I would have it along the way. Like, I don't know what good stops would be that wouldn't take me too far, of course. Corey says, wow, being Sticks and Bricks, how long will you be working there? Corey Bose is going to be about 2 months. So most of March and April, I'll be there. I'll be done just before the end of April. Ziggy, quick summary. I am going to be working a job in Ashland, Oregon for 2 months. Oregon Caves is the underground beauty of coolness, says William O. Smith. All right, that's another one for the list I'll have to make time for. So yeah. Dylan, will there be Wi-Fi in the home you're staying in? I am about 90% sure. Actually, I'm 99% sure, mostly because this is the same housing they use for everybody they bring in from out of town, most especially actors. And the actors would, I mean, the basic thing you give them now is access to the internet, because everybody uses that for everything. I mean, more people stream than watch standard TV. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be internet. I will let you, Patty, I will let you know if I plan a meetup. Maybe I should do one before I leave, actually. I just have to figure out which day will work. Corey Bose, thank you very much, says, I pray it all goes well. Whitcat says, I find you very inspiring, beautiful attitude and strength. I own a 98 Chevy van, is pretty much ready to go. Just need the bravery. Whitcat, why don't you go out on like some short trips? Like, don't commit to the whole shebang, or even like sleep in the van while it's like parked near your current Sticks and Bricks. And just sleep in the van when you know if it's not comfortable, then you can just go inside. Like, I think I'm a person who's going to just jump in and go, but not everybody is that person. And I think a great way to transition into van life, especially if you have a comfortable Sticks and Bricks situation, is to do it in the driveway or in front of a house that you own. Because then it's just about the comfort of the space in the van and not so much about all the other scary stuff people fear, which is like, once you're not in that safe place and you're parking on a city street, not only are you now worried about if the van's comfortable just for standard sleeping, now you're also worried about all those other fears. And just get out of the way the fact that the van can be comfortable, and maybe do a short trip into the type of situations you expect to be in when you know you still have a place to come home to. And that is okay. Dylan, so you will be there with others. I'll have my own like space. Like, I won't be sharing like a roommate space. I think there's like, I don't know if the kitchen is shared or not, but it's like you'll have your own locked door space, and there's some common area stuff that people share. I don't know all the details. I only have a loose summary. I really only see when I get there. William O. Smith, what is this address that you've given me? Ha ha ha, I did sleep in it one night. It went great, but I do have some fear of people or bangs on the door. Witcat, once you're asleep in your van or like quietly back there, you're just a parked car. As long as you're legally parked, you'll usually be fine. So I think it's just a fear thing. And like I said, just do it one night. And if you're like, I can't do it, and you need to go home, to your sticks and bricks, go home. But also, like, if you've done it at your house, then try a couple nights sleeping away from your house, Oh, William, thank you, Myrtle Creek for Letty's. Okay, cool. So I'll make sure I re-refer to this chat and write that down so I remember to swing around there. With cat, no problem. Like, All right, bye, Ziggy. Thank you for joining the chat. Jane, hello. So any other questions, comments, curiosities about van life in general, my travel plans? William O. Smith slept at the work parking lot. I think that's the best, when I have like a work parking lot that I can sleep in, because like it's usually the best. Because then you just wake up and you go, especially if there's like an accessible shower at the job, that's like the best. One time I slept in a work parking lot, and the theater had a shower, so I just woke up earlier than everybody else. I had access to the building, got my shower in. By the time everybody else had, showed up, I'd already taken care of all that. Tanya, thank you for the love from Arizona. Anybody else got anything else for me? I do have an early call for work tomorrow. Not that early. It's like, 8. I need to be up about 8:30 my time to get into work. Actually, I need to be up before then if I want to make breakfast in the van. So yeah, I would have to get up at like 7:45 my time to make sure I had enough time to get my brain together. Some of that's just getting my brain together, and then I have to be at work a little bit after 9. I'm going to be I don't usually stay in San Francisco. Like, I usually stay across the bridge in either Oakland or Berkeley. Like, most of my life is spent in Oakland or Berkeley as opposed to San Francisco, just because it's too hard to park. And I can park so easily in Oakland and Berkeley by comparison to San Francisco. And so, like, I don't tend to, like, stay in San Francisco unless I have a reason to be here. But I have work here for most of the week. So I'm going to be here Monday through Thursday, which means I'm going to be playing ring around the parking, and hopefully won't have to end up taking up too much of a parking charge. It's the only thing I don't like about this museum job, is dealing with the San Francisco parking. Like, it sucks. Like, I wish the place had a parking lot, but it doesn't. So yeah. Carol, will you have time to show us around your new town? I'm sure I will. Robin, I'm torn between an RV or a van. What kind of RV? There's lots of RVs. There's class B's and C's and A's. There's travel trailers. Like, what kind of RVs are you really looking into? And also, what kind of lifestyle do you want? Because that'll answer your question. Mona, are you going to do more out of town work? It depends. I mean, like, I throw it out to the universe. If I get offered something and it's the right thing, I say yes to it. Corey, last fall I slept in my work parking lot. Isn't that like the best? Because you're already there. You don't have to get up early and deal with traffic words. It's the best. Carol, yes. Corey says, Robin, most RVs get leaks and vans don't. I think that it depends, because a lot of the, like, a Class B is a van. It's a van tricked out with RV stuff. And they don't necessarily leak as much as like a lot of the C's, a lot of the very cheaply made C's that people get. Those are horrible with leaks. A lot of the Class B's don't have as much of a problem. Like, they're basically vans. But one thing RVs have is they just have a lot of stuff in them that can break. So it's great you have all that stuff, but it might break. B, good night. It's 10:30. I knew I was getting on kind of late, and I know for people as we get across the coast, it can be really, really late for people. I'm late. Website. What's it going to be about? I just revised my website to make it better and on a more stable server. So it's really just the revision of my current website, which is dawnofvanlife.com. Rita, hi Dawn, glad to see you again. Blessings upon you. Thank you, Rita. Blessings upon you too. Robin Exley says bumper pull. So you were thinking about a trailer, Robin? Of which there's also multiple types. So if you're thinking about a trailer as far as an RV, just know like that comes with a completely different lifestyle than a more, for lack of a better term, stealth style vehicle. So yeah, just think about that. Like you're not going to be driving through like city streets with that. Also, you should probably, I don't know anything about it, but you should probably double verify, are you going to use a vehicle you already have? Are you getting a new vehicle? If so, with the vehicle you have, what can you pull? Like, you need to check into all that stuff if you're going to do any kind of trailer. I don't know much about it. I just know there's a lot involved in checking those numbers. Sometimes people pull things they shouldn't with vehicles that shouldn't be pulling those kind of trailers. Oh, Tanya, I'm just so sorry that you're not feeling well. Please take care of yourself. Corey says, yes, plus I don't have solar, so I use a power strip to charge my power banks at work. Hey, that's what I did for like more than a year, Corey. All I did was charge power banks at work, or I charged while I was driving. You should also, I don't know how much driving you do, but when you do drive, you can also get one of those, power, those 12-volt inverters that you just plug into your car if you don't already have one. And that's also a good way to charge up power banks. Edna says Matt's RV reviews on YouTube has some great reviews. So Edna, thanks for that. Anybody looking into RVs specifically, especially trailers or anything you have to pull, definitely take that suggestion. Hello, Kat. Novel culture. I'm going to Ashland, Oregon for work for 2 months. And welcome to my chat. FDM says, hey Don, the new job sounds good. Be interesting to see the area as you explore. I'm going to try to share as much as I can. I'm going to focus on doing simple videos. William O. Smith says, my RVs have never leaked. Yeah, and like I think a lot of people get older C's, and those old C's, like they really do. I had an old C and it leaked. And then I ended up selling it. And this was a while ago. And it was my first attempt at doing a nomad life. And the vehicle was the wrong match for me anyway. I kind of like having a van. I like the sturdiness of a van. But there are good RVs out there. But as far as like, it's your price point, it's your lifestyle, you just have to do the research. I don't think every RV is a piece of crap. As far as like the body, potential for leaks, like I said, thing is, there's a lot of stuff in RVs. There's whole kitchen systems. There's electrical systems that are already kind of there that you have to work around or work with, depending on your perspective. There's more things that can break in an RV than a van with nothing in it. And then if you build into a van, the thing is you've built it, so you kind of understand it. But there are people who are like very good with like modifying their RVs, and they'd rather have an RV and modify it than build from a blank van. And other people are much happier saying, I built this system, I know this system, everything in this customization was made by me, so I understand how it works. And that's how I felt as I've slowly like progressed in my van, as far as like installing my solar panel and studying how to do a solar system, and like teaching myself these small things along the way. I feel like, I understand the stuff that's in my van right now. And there's not stuff where if it breaks on the inside, there's still mechanical stuff I can't handle as far as the actual engine and all that. But as far as the stuff on the inside, the house function stuff, like it's all ways that I've adapted and created. And so I feel like I understand it. And I kind of like that, as opposed to the RV where it was all this stuff I had to figure out. Yes, it was already there. To some extent it worked. Like I said, it was an old broke down RV and I ended up selling it. But there was a lot more to figure out that was already there, as opposed to building up to a situation that I created. And so you just got to do your research. You got to really look into it. And definitely with RVs, because the choices are all over the place with RVs. Like there's the B, there's the C, there's the A. There's mechanical things. Like a lot of C's, some of them, the front of them are basically a truck. So like, let's say like it's on a Ford body. Well, if you know how to work on a truck, working on that's not going to be a big deal. Now, a Class A, a lot of those are flat on the front. They're more mechanically akin to buses. And so in finding people who can work on that, if you can't work on it yourself, might be a little bit more challenging. When you're getting into travel trailers and things you have to tow, things like that, fifth wheels. Now you're dealing not only with like the RV itself, but do you have the vehicle that can pull it? But also, if you get large RVs, are you going to want a small vehicle to then pull behind the RV? So there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself when you're getting into RVs, and it's definitely a big research thing. I think with vans, like if you just want to do a van, the choices are more basic. It's really about size. Either way, you're trying to get yourself a vehicle that's basically a blank slate that you're going to build up in. And there are advantages and disadvantages to both. I don't think either choice is inherently wrong. It's really about your lifestyle and where you want to live. Getting a fifth wheel, if you want to park on city streets, makes no sense. Like those things can't go together. Now, if you're like, I'm going to do campgrounds and RV parks, and that's how I'm going to handle it, then like a fifth wheel becomes a more realistic option. Like living and working the way I do, a fifth wheel would never be an option, just to do two extreme choices. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. Bridget says, been watching a lot of build videos of vans. I think I have to go with an extended cargo van. One for the extra room is super nice. If you have never driven a larger vehicle, like if you've only driven a car, I would also say rent a van that's the approximate size of the vehicle that you're looking at, because it will feel different and you may be fine. But if you've only driven cars, another thing to think about when you start looking at vans or any kind of other vehicle that you might want to convert is to really think about, is there a way that I can get behind one of these things and drive them before I actually commit to buying one? Because I know that can throw some people off. And sometimes you just jump in and you get used to it. So just think about that. If you've only driven small vehicles and you're looking into large vehicles to convert or drive, rather that's an RV, because even a Class A is a lot of RV to drive, and the space is really nice when you're thinking about lounging, but it can really feel challenging when it's something you're driving on the road. So just think about that as well. If there's any way you can get out and rent a vehicle of a large size or test drive it. I mean, really, you can go to U-Haul and rent one of their biggest trucks for a few hours, and that'll really give you the feeling of driving something large. And maybe you don't need to move anything, but it's a good way to like sort of test yourself when I have more weight behind me or something larger to maneuver, how comfortable am I with it? I was really happy with myself when I backed an RV into a driveway. It was a Class C, but I was like, when I backed that thing into a driveway, I was scared the whole time. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I did it and I was like, yeah, it's a champion. Yeah, it was a really like pleasing moment for me. And it was like it was a small street, and I basically had to drive down and then back the thing into a driveway. And it was really an experience I had to go through and get over. So that's also something else to think about when you're thinking about larger vehicles, larger than you're used to driving. If all you have driven is a compact car, I would find a way to get, and you're thinking about a larger vehicle of some sort than you're used to driving, I would really think about ways to get behind the wheel and actually try it out. So yeah. Sean, hey, thanks for dropping in. Yes, I am live, Nancy. Nancy says I used to drive for FedEx. There you go. That's a nice. Did you drive a step van style van? That's usually the kind of FedEx trucks I see. They don't really have like the box truck style. A lot of times they seem to have like the step van style. But there you go. That's something that's much larger than a normal vehicle. William says, my advice to a noob is to step in and move out until you understand. Yes, that's good advice. Take those baby steps into like feeling it out. I mean, another thing you can do is also like rent a van and like if you're really bold, you can like rent a van for a day or two, grab a sleeping bag and some basic supplies. And if you can survive van life like that, everything else just becomes a luxury. Nancy said I was going to go to the 18-wheeler school in Tennessee. I think I would be intimidated by a really, really large vehicle. Like I've driven a larger pickup truck, not towing anything. I've driven a Class C. I've driven obviously my minivan. I've driven like a larger like cargo van because one of the theaters that I worked for, they used a large cargo van to like transport props. And I really didn't think it was going to be as intimidating as it was, but it was kind of a monster. And we had to like get it out of this loading dock gate and onto this busy street. And really it was so much truck and people were just shooting down the street, like not paying attention to this large, like, vehicle trying to come out of this gate, even when it was clearly visible. So yeah, that was a trip. Sean H, exactly. Especially like if Sean says exactly what I thought, get a van for a weekend, grab a sleeping bag and see if you freak out or not. And it's okay to freak out. Like, and the best thing is when you have a house to go back to. So if it's like there's a house you can go back to, like if you're really uncomfortable, it gives you a safety net as opposed to just leaving and then being like, I can't have a good sleep. And you will really find out if you're capable of just like going out. And you can also adjust. And you can be like, well, this didn't work for me. That was terrible. Let me try this other thing and see if it makes me more comfortable. Now, at some point, you got to cut all the safety strings and just go. But it's okay to experiment a bit before you like jump out there. Nancy, if you go back to the beginning of the video, I basically go over everything. The biggest news is that I'm going to Oregon for 2 months. So in a little less than a week, I'm going to be leaving and going to Oregon. And I was asking people for suggestions of good places to stop along the way. Like, my glasses really look, but my eyes are, sorry, I just noticed like my glasses and it's so much reflection, but I literally can't see. I'm way too blind without my glasses, but there's like so much reflection in my glasses. I got distracted. But I'm going to Oregon for 2 months, Nancy, and I redesigned my website, and I now have a Amazon storefront just with recommended products on it. And I was saying like that'll help me out a lot. Like if you're just shopping on Amazon, to use my links. So yeah, any other like things you want to discuss? I'm probably gonna get off here soon because, like I said, I have an early call tomorrow, and so I'm just spitballing at this point since I kind of covered the stuff I wanted to cover at the beginning of the video. We've talked a lot about experimenting when going out into van life and ways to experiment, driving larger vehicles, doing your research if you're looking into RVs, the experimental night, sleeping in the van when you know you still have a house to go home to. So yeah. Kenneth says, use sunglasses for videos, can see without reflection. All right, I'll have to look into that. Because I'm like, on one hand, this doesn't look great on screen, but on the other hand, I can't see if I'm not wearing my glasses. FDM, have a good night to you as well. Nancy, I have one big thing left to get the fridge, and I will definitely be getting it on your Amazon. Excellent, Nancy. The fridge I bought isn't, there anymore. I don't know if, my video caused a lot of people to buy it or what happened, but they don't sell it anymore. And the cup at store is still there. They just don't sell the 12-volt fridge anymore. Dawn, not me, other Dawn says, hope parking in Oregon is just as easy. I asked them about parking, and they said there's parking near everywhere I have to be for work. And since I'll be living in their housing, I don't really have to worry about the things I have to worry about here. Nancy says, I love sleeping in my car. I wish I still had my minivan. I didn't mind sleeping in my car when I had it. I didn't 100% hate it. It just wasn't great for me for full-time living, especially because there's so much I need to do. Like tonight, I got off work at night, and it's it's not really comfortable to cook in a car. And with the minivan, I can at least come back to the minivan. And even if it's dark outside and I can't drive anywhere, I can just crack the windows and cook in the minivan, even if I get it home from a job after dark. Which when I was in the car, unless I was going to eat something that didn't require cooking, that wasn't really an option. And that's sort of the options having the minivan has given me over the car. There was a lot of people who were like, save money, stay in the car. As far as, because I was in the forums over at RV Living. And there were a lot of people who were pro stay in the car, but I think for them, a lot of them are in situations where they can casually go out when the sun is out and know they're going to be able to cook and have, the ability to sort of live outside the vehicle. And my schedule is restricted by what kind of work I'm doing. And there's days where I have the whole day free. I can go out to a park if I want to. I can do whatever I want all day. And there are days where I have to get up early and go to a job. And by the time I get back to the van, it's dark. And if I want to make me some dinner, going to a park and popping out a camping stove is not an option. And it's in those situations that the van has been better than the car. If it was just I had to sleep in it and get out in the morning and do something, the car isn't that bad. I still like having a bed, which I couldn't really have in the car, or I didn't have in the car, but I've been able to create in the minivan. So yeah, there were a lot of reasons the car was just wasn't not going to work out for me long term, and so I was only in it a few months. So yeah. Skypunk, I'm not going to be a part-time van dweller. I just have housing for 2 months. It's like when I'm house sitting or pet sitting. It's like I'm in a situation where housing is offered, free housing, so I'm going to take it for the amount of time I have it. It's more like going to a hotel for a couple of months, except I don't have to pay for it. That's more closer to what it's like than becoming part-time. Because yeah, I'm probably just going to be staying in their housing and going to work. It's a good time for van projects because it's really hard to do long-term projects when you're sleeping in the van every night, because then you have to unpack everything. You only have a certain amount of time to get the project done before the sun goes down. And then once the sun goes down, you need to make sure everything is packed back in the van so that you can go to bed at night. So it's not really great to pull apart things and really do either deep cleaning or get into crevices or it's hard to do really big stuff where you need to empty out the van when you're living in the van constantly. And so there's some stuff that's going to be a little bit easier to do or to take care of now that I don't have to be in the van like every night. So yeah. You can stop across the street at Wolf Creek Inn for sleeping, says William O. Smith. I'm going to try not to pay for any sort of sleeping along the way because I don't have a lot of money. So the only thing I want to be paying for is gas on my way up there, or maybe if there's something like looks really cool to do, maybe pay for that, but I need to keep costs down. Dawn says, cool, parking is the most stressful part of van life for me. Dawn, I would have to say it was more, it's stressful at the beginning than it is to me now. I'm pretty comfortable with parking. Like my thing, I'm not worried about anybody knocking on the van. It's happened so little and been so uneventful that I do not worry about it. If you look like a quiet parked car on the street, you will be ignored. That's it. That's all that's required, to be legally parked and minding your own business and reasonably quiet. If you're following those 3 rules, most people are going to ignore you as long as you're legally parked. My solar panel has never been a problem. The cargo carrier on my roof has never been a problem. Like, all the things people are like, that's going to ruin your stealth. None of it's ever been a problem as long as I'm legally parked and being reasonably quiet overnight. So yeah. So I personally, I get other people find it stressful. Like even if I hear noises like right outside the van, like I've heard conversations and like I might listen for 2 seconds and then half the time I find out it's a personal conversation and then I start ignoring it and it just becomes white noise. So yeah, it doesn't really stress me out. Like parking, you know, I had some nervous situations probably when I was first starting out, and it wasn't even every night. It was just certain situations where I was like, I'm not 100% sure if this is a good place to park. But usually it was fine. And by the time I went to sleep, I was fine. So yeah. Nancy says, how did you get this gig? That's a long involved conversation involving 2 situations that didn't work out and a 3rd situation that worked for me and the person offering it. So yeah, it's a very long involved conversation about how I got the gig. A long time ago, I did send out some basically blind resumes to some theaters, and it just happened somebody bit one of those. So sometimes sending a bunch of unsolicited resumes can work out, basically. Scott Punk has asked me, have I thought about getting a full-size van down the road? I think a lot about a bigger van. I can think about it all I want. I don't have the money. Literally, the only thing in the way of me in a bigger van is money I don't have. Scott Punk also says, people talk this nonsense about stealth parking. It's bullcrap. I think because I park on the streets, never being bothered. People don't notice you, don't care really. So I think stealth parking is a folly. Oh, and William O. Smith says, don't pay for the inn. Oh, okay. I think I got you. But rewinding to that. Yeah, stealth parking isn't as serious as YouTubers make it out to be. And here's the truth about stealth parking. It gets a lot of hits. If you are a van life video and you put the word stealth in your video, people are going to click because there is this fear of the knock. And people who get the knock a lot are usually gathered in clumps. So if you are gathered in clumps with, for lack of a better term, undesirable RV and van dwellers who are being blatantly obvious, who are all gathered together, who clearly have sort of this squatter style of living, of being in a spot and trying to stay there as long as possible, there is a high risk of a knock. If you are a random vehicle on the street that to a person walking down the street looks like another quietly parked vehicle that is legally parked, there is no reason for anyone to pay you any attention. And that's the thing. It's like, Don't go into some suburban neighborhood where everybody has driveways and most people know who the people in the neighborhood are, because then you will stand out. Now, if you go into a neighborhood that has a lot of street parking and it looks like there's probably 3 to 4 people in a house fighting for spaces on the street, probably around there you're not going to be noticed. There's like or near an apartment building, these are just clumps of vehicles on the street and nobody knows whose car belongs to anybody, or maybe they have some vague idea of the couple of vehicles that belong to this house, but clearly visitors park here, people park here to access nearby businesses, like that kind of street parking. Nobody's going to pay attention to your vehicle. So yeah, you just have to observe the situation, and it's just a thing you get used to. Like, as you get used to it, sort of your fear of it is going to come down. And I don't know how else to describe it. But there's some very, very obvious situations. One, it's what I like to call the gathering spot, and that's where you can clearly tell. And these spots aren't inherently bad, and not all of them are dirty, and it can be a good way to like communicate with other people in van life. And that's what I call the clump area, where like obviously there are usually obvious RVs there as well as vans that are being dwelt in. They have clear signs that they are being dwelt in, but on top of that, there are groups of them together that are really very being dwelt in. If you have 5 vehicles on the street, all with solar panels, even if it's clean around there, you're like, oh, there's a bunch of people living in this line of 5 vehicles. When there's one random vehicle that looks like it might be a camper, it doesn't matter as much, because like people, as long as it's the right size to fit in that space, that one random camper can be there. And unless like somebody hears something that sounds weird, there's no reason to believe anybody is in there. So if you're just laying in there to sleep and you're watching like Netflix on your headphones or with the volume really low, I hardly ever wear headphones, and sometimes my window is cracked. So reasonably somebody could hear, and nobody's ever knocked on my van at all. And I watch Netflix probably every night. Yeah. But a lot of it, Scott Punk is right. I'm looking at comments, says a lot of it is about respecting where you are. And mostly people will not bother you. Okay, let me look at some more comments. So I saw... Sorry. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I can now highlight your comments. I'm figuring out the StreamYard. This is awesome. This is a new thing. I didn't know StreamYard could do this. That's fun. So, Kat, you probably noticed that, and nobody else probably did. The fact that it was, it had a US dot fake number and a business that did not have an area code on the number. Like, you are probably the only person that noticed that. William O. Smith says, don't gather in clumps or leave any trash. Never leave trash. That is the biggest thing. Always take care of your trash, which true for campsites is also true for parking lots, and it's also true for like city streets. Pack out your trash all the time. Never leave it around your van or your vehicle. Don't be gross, because that's what ruins it for everybody. Sean H says, correct. Don't drive a vehicle that's going to piss people off, and mind your manners. Don't behave like an I don't care arse. Exactly. Respect the space, and like people won't mind as much. So you're asking, how's that workout going? I'm actually doing really well. Also, like, I've been revising a lot of my eating. I've completely given up soda. I am also trying to cut out a lot of like processed food as much as possible. I'm not going to say I'm 100% angel, but I've definitely been trying to reduce it. So a lot of my health plans are going rather well. I just found a new toy on StreamYard. I can now display comments. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, I really do have to log out, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and say goodnight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I feel like I was really dull tonight. I didn't really have a lot to say after I sort of said my piece about my my announcements. So I need to get out of here. I have an early morning. I'm sorry, Iconic Night. Hello, Joy. I'm glad you're a new subscriber. But I really gotta go because like I have an early call in the morning for work. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for all your questions. I always have fun talking about van life. And you know, yeah, this is fun. This is great. Feel free to visit the new donnavanlife.com, and I look forward to talking to you guys later. Do.